Hey guys, we are back with a bonus Truth, Beer, and Consequences episode. We're here with producer Jake, who is trying Rally Cap on slow pour for the very first time.
Oh, this is amazing. That's right.
You all know that we love this stuff so stupid much.
So good. Producer Jake and I go back a long ways. I mean, I moved to Cincinnati, I think it was 17, almost 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And producer Jake and I met, what was it, Jake, 3 months ago?
Yeah, probably about that. Yeah,
about
Way
3
far
months
back.
ago.
I mean,
Yeah.
time's not a
Excellent.
real thing. So.
It
No,
really,
it's not.
really isn't.
No,
so,
it's not.
so Marco and I are going to talk a little bit while you try Rally Cap. That way there aren't any weird, awkward pauses.
Right.
But
that's another,
Well-
that's a podcast
That's a pro tip for you
tip
there.
there, by the way.
I need Marco's my beer guy. He explains everything to me. He knows
Hell
beer,
yeah.
front, back, side to
does.
side.
He does.
So explain to me a slow pour and what makes this better than.
Oh, wow.
Good
So
question.
what you've got, I mean, a typical tap. I mean, of course, both are pouring off our carbonated gas, CO2. What
First
one's
drink
going to
good.
do? What one's going to do is pour that beer. I mean, in a glass, typically, like almost like you're cracking a can and putting it in there. What this one does is it has like a sparkler at the end of it, and what that sparkler does is it diffuses a lot of that CO2, and so when it comes into the glass, what you're going to end up getting is a larger head on that beer. And
That's what she said.
yes.
Hey.
Hey now. Part of the point of that, and by the way, part of the point of pouring a beer into a glass is to expel that CO2. That CO2 is part of the experience, right? So you get some aroma from that, as well as expelling that gas. And so less of that gas is trying to come out when it's inside your system. When the system of a slow pour tap, and don't at me if you don't like what I
Totally
have.
at him.
If you don't like what I have to say, don't at me. But if you do, where do they send complaints, Julia?
At Raging Hop on the Twitters.
Right. So you can be wrong. It's your opinion, but you're wrong. But anyway, so what happens is that sparkler at the end of that tap sort of diffuses the beer as it pours it into the glass, to where you have a portion of true liquid with diffused carbonation, and then when poured to its truest sense, you get this creamy meringue head that just can be a pillowy presence over the top of the glass. Now,
Sorry, not to interrupt. Go ahead.
yeah. So that's sort of what happens, is all of that CO2 helps to expel, and then you're getting from that pillowy head a very delicious meringue aroma, and then you taste the true presentation essence of that beer.
Yes. And what I was going to say, when you said that nice meringue head, if you go to High Grain Brewing and ask for their slow pour Pilsner,
Yeah.
when they set it down, they actually like jiggle the glass for you so that you can see just how
Yeah.
solid and,
Oh, I
and
love a good
meringue
jiggle.
that I love a good jiggle and a good solid head. I'm telling you, there is nothing better.
There we go, Julia.
We need some of that.
How about that?
You know some of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what
That
do you
jiggle,
think?
baby.
Yeah, you can
so
play the
you-
intro music again.
So Jake, you've had Rally Cap before, correct?
No, this is
yeah,
my
this
first-
first time. Oh, nice.
First
Okay.
time. I'm more of a IPA guy.
Oh,
Typically.
wow.
Sounds
Well,
familiar.
sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
like everybody else?
Well, no,
No,
my
oh,
Josh, my
yeah.
boyfriend, is very much he prefers the IPAs West Coast, the clear, the really hoppy, dank, bitter IPAs. So it's cool to run across another IPA guy. So that's awesome. What do you think about the Sonder Rally Cap on slow pour?
It is very good. I would
Nice.
drink it again. I always would trust Marco with anything he recommends. Obviously, you can tell why I ask him about beers is because he gives me that answer. I would have told you, it's got a bigger head. and then it would have been done.
And that
but,
would have been
you know, like he explains it, and it's great.
yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I honestly, if you talk that much and love a beer so much, I'll probably drink it whether I like it or not.
Yes.
You know, it's all about selling it.
Marco has taught me a lot just in the time that we've been doing the podcast. I'll ask him questions all the time like, hey, what is this? What is that? They refer to this on whatever episode. I'm not familiar. And he's a phenomenal resource. So it's very good to have him in your corner for that.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jake, you are not only a Higher Gravity Summit Park regular, you're going to be starting your own podcast sometime in the near future. I mean, these things take a little bit to kind of flush out some of the details, but did you want to talk a little bit about what you're doing so that we can get our listeners excited about
Yes.
what may be coming down the pipeline soon?
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
this all started by Marco. He let
Instigator.
me. Yeah.
Was that your nickname in high school?
One of them. Well, that's partly true. Mostly true.
He's been through the pain of starting a podcast and gaining the
True.
courage. And, you know, we were talking, and I was like, man, I would really love to do this. And he was like, hey,
Just
we
do
will
it.
help you. And he threw you under the bus, said you would
Hell
help
yeah.
me too.
I
And now
did.
we became
Oh
friends.
my God! And now look at where I am stuck, guys.
I did. Well, I mean, what are
I'm
you?
trying to
suppo-
back up this bus, and it's just not moving anywhere.
Well, I mean, that's very nice of you, Jake. But I mean, in fairness, you said you had a podcast idea, and I said that sounds like a great idea. And I said, well, have you thought about equipment? And you said, I have the equipment. And I
And it's
said,
like, well, just
and I was
do
like-
it.
And I was like,
Yeah.
well, you got microphones, cables. I got microphones. I got cables. I said, you got a mixer. I got a mixer. Headphones. I got a headphone. I got headphones. I was like, so you can start a
do it
podcast?
right.
I mean, let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was more of a, hey, come, you know, we're happy to help you. Come check out what we do. Hope it inspires you to go ahead and plug everything in and turn the record button on. Make sure the record button is on.
That is
Make sure.
Pro tip.
That is pro tip. It's
Rule
right
number
there.
one.
It's
We're
on-
not even going to charge you for that tip.
And the podcast
Yeah.
commandments.
Make sure the record button's on and
Is that
inspire
a Notorious
you to.
B.I.G. song, first podcast commandments? Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it go ahead and do it. So having you here is a little bit about talking. You've got your concept. We don't need to talk you through that. You've got equipment, and it was just more about hey, inspiring you to say, can I get behind a mic? Can I put the headphones on? Is it just yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
you
So
can.
let's hear
and do
about
it.
his concept because he does
I'd
have
lo-
all the bases. What is your concept? Because I love it. I absolutely
think
love
it's
it.
great, and our listeners. Hold on a second, listeners.
Oh. Who are we going to get this time?
Hello.
Oh, it's Morgan Freeman.
This is Morgan Freeman.
Oh, this is so good.
Jake is about to tell you what his podcast is about. This may change the auditory history of podcasting as we know it. And now, Jake.
Wow.
Holy hell.
I
Were
don't-
you ready for that intro?
No, I don't even
Oh
want to
my
say
God.
anything. I want you to keep talking. I actually went to the OmniMax last week and saw Morgan Freeman's Into America's Wild.
Oh,
Great.
yeah.
I
great
enjoyed
little
recording that. Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
It wasn't even him. They just hired you.
I thank you, OmniMax.
In my
I was
my
able
phone,
to buy a car.
Shout out
my,
OmniMax.
my
Shout out
phone,
OmniMax.
My phone contact is Marco Morgan Freeman. Anyway, I apologize, Jake. What is your podcast concept?
No.
Because I love it. I love it so much.
Oh, thank you. My idea first started from a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode. I don't know if you guys know that show, ever heard of it, but there's one where...
Slaps.
At Slaps?
At Slaps.
Oh,
That
oh.
slaps.
Oh, sorry. Ooh, is that... Maybe I shouldn't
Born
say
and
this
raised
now.
on the playground is where
No,
I
go
spent
ahead.
most of my days. Everyone knows
Slapping
the
Chris
song.
Rock outside.
Hell yeah.
Remix.
Yeah. Woo!
There we go.
But there was an episode where Will taught his cousin Ashley to scare people off. You necessarily don't have to fight. You just kind of got to be crazy.
Yeah.
And he told everybody to mind your business. And I
Hell
was
yeah.
like, I like that. That's going to be the title. And a thing I've always enjoyed was learning about what people do. But I don't want to know the good of it. I don't want to know your 30-second spiel about how you do this and you love it. I want to know the highs, the lows, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you want to go into work, what makes you want to leave early. Do you get to leave early? And I want to know about your business. It's going to be anonymous. You can complain about whoever you want. You can change your name. In this, I already have a couple guests lined up.
Nice.
Some. Luckily, my girlfriend's family. There, a lot of them support me as well.
Hell yeah.
And they are doctors. So
She's lovely, by the way.
I have a great girlfriend. Yeah, she is great. Shout out
I
Jules.
haven't met her, but I'll say that she is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, she's lovely.
I'll
Brownie
slide into her
points. I'm going to
DMs
have
anytime.
to play this for her. Yes.
Hell yeah.
But, I would love to know the pains that a doctor goes through, because we think that they just make a lot of money and it's easy, and it's not easy, especially the last couple of years have been a lot harder for,
True.
So that's one episode, but I'd love to, interview somebody about IT.
Sure.
I'm
in.
I'd love to
I do IT.
interview some a brewer. What do you a
Sure.
master brewer?
You can interview
I
Marco
could
multiple
introduce you
times
to
about his
some.
37
Absolutely.
different
No,
jobs.
that's you, brother.
Oh, me?
You're the
Oh.
master. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
And because you offer to help, you automatically have signed up for my
Sure.
first 2 episodes.
Oh
Abso-
shit! We
happy to
signed
help.
ourselves up for this.
Happy to
We're
help.
stuck now.
Voice modulation,
no, I love
though.
it.
He has voice modulation, so
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
We can make it. Make
Yeah.
it sound real low. Yeah.
Right.
And what you were talking about with us is while you're talking to people about their jobs, you're going to be drinking. It's going to be kind of a, hey, let's go out, have a drink, and talk about the highs, the lows, that kind of thing.
100%.
Which
That's the
kind of
most
fits into
important
our
part.
wheelhouse.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I absolutely love it.
drinks, and if you work around the craft beer scene and you weave that into it, you could end up being a regular podcast that we end up having to talk about.
Okay.
We could be making up stuff about your podcast on our
Yeah,
podcast.
I mean, it could.
So
yeah.
that could either encourage or dissuade you from what you want.
No, I support it. Anything is better than nothing.
Nice.
But yes, the way you guys will say, hey, okay, this is my new pour, this is my new drink. I love that, and I think that would be a fun part. Like if
Sure.
if I'm interviewing somebody and they drink 3, Ryan Geist Truce, they're probably going to tell me a lot more than they really want to tell me.
This is an excellent point.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Yes, he has. And
I
I've
wonder
had
if
to-
that's why it's called Truth.
There's a little bit of
A
history
little
there.
bit, yeah.
For-
I've had to edit out a couple things because
For-
Marcus had more than one.
Well,
Marco, you know the history behind Truth?
the reason why Truth Beer and Podsequences is called Truth Beer and Podsequences. Go ahead. So
Yeah, we've talked about it before.
we
It
talked
doesn't
about
need
it
to be
before.
super long. Yeah.
So the Monday show that the Gnarly Gnome does, by the way, anybody who's new to the show, the Gnarly Gnome is a Cincinnati craft beer full-time
Yes.
beer blogger, podcaster, vlogger, font and resource of information for all things Cincy craft. He does a live show on Mondays between 9 and 9:30-ish. And just the way it happens with my full-time job, I get out of my full-time job right at about 9-ish, 9:15, and I run around the corner and I go to my first spot. The first spot that I get to is a spot where I can get to-go food, and I always get a Truth, even though this place has their own beer. It is a place in, well, Jake.
We ran into
we
each
ran
other there
into
last
each other
month.
there.
Funny thing about Marco's job and my golf league, they end at the same time. Yes.
Yeah, so
I'll tell you, the Venn diagrams of people and beer and Cincinnati are.
It's weird. Isn't
It's
it?
almost one circle. It is
Right.
crazy. I love it.
So I ran out of my job, finished up, hurried, went around the corner to is BJ's Brew House.
Half off pizzas on Monday.
Yes,
So
true.
go on Mondays.
Go on
see
Mondays.
Marco, buy him a Truth.
Right.
While he's
And
sitting at the bar waiting for us to go
I
food.
sit at the bar and I always get a Truth because, their beer's okay, but Truth's better.
Truth is better. I had their beers, but yeah, Truth is better. Yep.
Their
So-
root beer is good.
Okay. So I always get a truth, and for as long as the weekly pint has been going, I have been getting a truth on Monday night and to-go food. I always
Yes.
get food for my family to go because my wife works late on or has obligations late on Monday night. I have obligations late on Monday night, so I get a truth. And when that's how Julia and I connected to start Truth, Beer, and Consequences. I was driving home from BJ's Brew House, and I called in. But anyways, I said something of the nature of that, and I said, you know what Cincinnati needs? Cincinnati needs a podcast that talks about all these podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and you know what? And I only interacted with Julia through this platform, and I said Julia needs to be my co-host. And when I got home, Julia found me.
Yeah.
Because
like, sure, why not?
she's the queen of screens, meaning like multiple screens, and she's also in IT. She found me, and she's like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yes, totally serious."
And I'm like, well, let's meet up. Let's talk about this. Let's figure out
Yeah, and
if
so
our ideas, if our kind of priorities as far as this goes align.
Right.
Because if Marco had one idea about what he wanted the show to be and I had another one, either we could compromise or we couldn't.
right,
we
or,
are pretty
or
much
if
right
I
on the
was
same page.
like
Yeah.
a murderer and just
Yeah.
wanted to like wear somebody's skin.
Which is why
Turned out-
we met at a public place, BC's Bottle Lodge, Montgomery.
Correct.
Oh, you met here.
Yeah,
The
we
first
met-
time we
Whoa,
interacted
okay.
outside of the Facebook
Right.
was here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
outside
I
of the
wore a
face space.
gnarly gnome shirt because I'm like, I don't know how he's gonna know who the hell I am, so I'll wear something Cincy Brewcast related.
Right, and so that's how we got. So that's part of how the truth got into Truth, Beer, and Consequences. When we were fleshing out names, Julia said, "What about Truth and Podsequences?" And I was like, "Oh,
Because we knew we wanted to not make fun of the shows, but we had talked during the weekly pint a little bit about, oh, well, this podcast said this, but I don't think this person actually exists, or whatever the case may be.
right."
And it just all went downhill from there, pretty much.
And I said nobody's going to find us because it doesn't say anything about beer. And I said, how about Truth, Beer, and Consequences? And we're like, okay,
and we're like, that's a terrible
Yeah.
name. I love it.
terrible,
Terrible.
We're
I
like,
love
oh my
it.
God. this is-
terrible, but okay.
And then we just started, which is
What
like
you just need to do. You just need to
exactly
start.
Yeah, and
the
so-
absolute best advice I think we could give, as very professional podcasters, of course,
Oh, extremely.
to anyone thinking about starting their own show. Just do it.
Yeah.
Even if you only publish to one platform, and all you're doing is recording on your phone, and you don't have fancy mic, whatever. We don't have fancy mics or headsets. Gnome, we know our headphones are crap. Just deal with it. Just
Mind
do
your
it.
business, Gnome.
Mind your business.
Mind your
Exactly.
business.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Just do it. So I absolutely love your idea. I love what you want to do. I want you to do it. We know other people that have had ideas for podcasts that are like, this is what I want to do. This is the voice that I want to have. And then they've just never really done anything with it.
Yeah.
Your first few episodes, you're not going to think are any good. Other people might think they're great and be like, this is fine. This is beyond listenable. Just put them out there because you can always get better. But if you never put anything out there, if you never just start,
That's
Yeah.
a
You
lesson
you
in
can't do
podcast
anything. Yeah,
and in life.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the other-
I love the.
And the other thing too is that leading up to and then once you get started, bringing craft beer into a podcast locally. This is a community.
It is.
We will do our best to help and assist you, talk with you. Apparently, be on
Guests.
a guest. But we'll help you, get to meet and talk to the other people that you hear about locally, because I'm sure they're going to be interested in what it is that you're doing, and it's pretty easy when the other shows hear about and like what you're doing. They want to connect with you. They want to
Sure.
communicate
Yeah,
with you,
yeah.
and we're a great beer city. We're a beer city that's not a flyover city anymore. And the podcast community has a chance to grow into something that is unlike anything that any other beer city has. And the growth of that is exciting. And so I'm excited, and I can't wait for the point where you're ready to get started and put stuff out there. And when that happens, it'll be awesome. So,
and we'll be here to make up our own truths about what you and your guests are saying.
yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, be ready for that, buddy.
I'm ready. I appreciate it. I don't have a podcast for anybody to comment on, so I need you guys to comment on Truth Beer Pod. Let them know what you think. If you like the idea, say Jake's idea is great. If you hate it and you want to say my mom is ugly, that's okay. I'll take it. Just leave, comment, subscribe. Tell my mom is ugly. It's great.
As soon as you have any kind of either social media platform, like an at wherever or a website or whatever, let us know. We are more than happy to get the word out to everyone to say, hey, Jake's podcast is out there.
It's out.
Check it out. Do that. So let us know. We'll let everyone else know, and we'll add it to our list of podcasts to talk about.
Absolutely. And to end this point 5, I'm just going to let everyone know. We alluded to it in the main show. We are looking for another date to do a live Truth Beer and Podsequences here at BC's Bottle Lodge, Montgomery, where goals for this year was to have a podcast palooza.
Yes.
And BC's Bottle Lodge is hopefully going to be our host. And so I would like to start making plans for Podcast Palooza at BC's Bottle Lodge, Montgomery. And if your podcast is up and running by that time, we would love to put you on the rotation for Podcast Palooza.
I love it.
It's going to be a great time. I'm not committing in any way to what BC's Bottle Lodge is going to do as far as that event, other than they are hosting a gamut of podcasts, and we are going to spend a whole day
assaulting the ears of anyone that walks into this place.
Ears of everybody, and hopefully turning up and turning out for this place. So stay tuned, and
Jake,
I know,
thank you so much.
Yeah, Jake, thank you.
Thank you for being the unintentional producer of our main episode. Thank you for trying Rally Cap on Slow Pour for the first time, and thank you for sharing your podcast idea with us, because I love the concept, and I can't wait to see what you do. I think it's going to be great.
No, thank you to both Julia, Marco.
Here we go. We cheers with Rally Caps.
Rally Caps.
Let's close this place down, guys. See you next time.
See ya.
Good one.